A figure stirs awake in a crumbling, sunlit chamber, silver hair cascading through beams of light. The transformation is breathtaking. Delicate features, glowing skin, an entirely new body. But here's the thing, this isn't who they used to be, not even close. Moments earlier, a boy lies in bed, shielding his eyes from a blinding light overhead. This is the last thing he'll ever see as a human, because what comes next? Death, and a choice that will change everything. He wakes up in a vast white void, completely alone. A disembodied voice welcomes him as a new soul hiker. The boy barely reacts, almost too calm for someone who just died. And the voice? She notices that too. The voice explains this is where his next life begins. New world, new race. But when he asks if he actually died, things get awkward fast. He calls the voice Lowly Granny, and she is not having it. Still, she confirms the worst. Yeah, he's dead. But why? The answer is almost embarrassingly mundane. Sleep apnea. That's what killed him. The boy can barely believe it either. But there's no time to dwell. The voice offers him a choice of races. Vampire, beast, fairy, you name it. The second she mentions vampire, he locks in immediately. No hesitation. And that snap decision? It's going to cost him more than he realizes. A massive list of vampire skills unfolds. Blood-sucking, atomization, bat transformation, shadow form, dark magic, elemental resistances, and dozens more. The boy glances at it and immediately wants a nap. Can't he just pick one and call it a day? The voice practically explodes. Absolutely not. There aren't enough points to max everything, so the voice lays out a recommended build. Blood type skills, transformation, language abilities, with leftover points in resistance and healing magic. The boy? He wants them all anyway. The voice forces a distribution before he can argue. His new body is locked in, but what that body actually looks like, he has no idea yet. Now reborn, the former boy, now a stunning silver-haired girl, stumbles through a medieval city, barely able to stand. She ate food, she drank water. Nothing helps. A hunger burns from deep inside her that normal sustenance can't satisfy, and it's only getting worse. She knows exactly what she needs, blood, but the thought disgusts her. Approaching a stranger to ask for a bite? That would just make her look like a creep. She collapses to the ground, wondering if choosing vampire was a terrible mistake. But someone is about to find her, and that encounter will change everything. She wakes up in a soft bed, eyes wide with wonder. After days of starving on the streets, the simple comfort of sheets and a pillow feels like paradise. Her eyes literally sparkle. But where is she? And more importantly, who brought her here? She throws herself face first into the mattress, declaring her undying love for the bed. She wants 3 meals, a nap, and afternoon snacks. She even says she'd marry someone who could embrace her the way this bed does. Whoever rescued her is listening, and they have some thoughts about these unique life goals. And then her rescuer speaks, calling her Ms. Bouncy Tits. Dead serious, no malice, just that's the name she chose based on physical traits. The vampire girl nearly loses her mind. She'd prefer the first name, thank you very much. But the rescuer is genuinely confused. She thought she was being polite. This girl names everyone like this, and it's about to become a recurring problem. The rescuer introduces himself, Zeno Kotobuki, a young trader. He asks for her name, and she freezes. She can't exactly say Kuon Ginji. That was her old life as a Japanese man. After a painful pause, she blurts out a single word. Arjun! It's not much, but it's a start. And Zeno! He doesn't push. He figures she has her reasons. The two hit the road on Zeno's trade carriage. Arjun devours a piece of dried meat while Zeno explains the clothes she's wearing are from his merchandise. She thanks him, but he waves it off. He's just glad he had something in her size. But then, something catches Arjun's attention. Something is very wrong up ahead. 3 bandits block the road, and their introductions are absolutely unhinged. One's the chain-sickle-wielding chihuahua, another's the bombastic dachshund, and the last one's the knife-throwing terrier. Together, the terrier bandits. Arjun watches from the side, thinking these 3 have a long way to go. But Zeno's in real danger. Arjun steps forward with a deal. If she rescues Zeno, will he feed her? Zeno can barely process the request before she's already in motion. She sizes up the bandits and starts naming them. League hair Bobo, bald head coat, spread nose hair. Zeno's jaw drops. What is wrong with her sense for names? But what she does next makes everyone forget the nicknames entirely. The smell of sausages and bread drifts from Zeno's carriage, and Arjun's vampire instincts kick into overdrive. Motivated purely by hunger, she charges toward the bandits. Something bursts out of the dust cloud, and Zeno can only stare. Whatever just happened, it wasn't normal. In a single instant, Argon obliterates one of the bandits. He literally disintegrates into black mist. The remaining two are frozen in shock. "She disintegrated?" one stammers. They scatter like headless chickens. Argon stands there calmly, but even she seems surprised by her own power. Being a vampire might have been the right call after all. With the danger behind them, Argon privately reflects on her situation. She's undeniably attractive now, which could attract unwanted male attention. She muses about Zeno, finding him interesting but dismissing any long-term plans. He's a traitor, always moving. She probably can't just freeload off him forever. But something tells us these two aren't parting ways anytime soon. Zeno's carriage rolls into the seaside city of Aruresha. Argon takes it all in. The rooftops, the salty wind, the open sky. For someone who died in their sleep and woke up as a vampire girl in another world, things are finally starting to look up. But in a world full of bandits, blood cravings, and terrible nicknames, this is only the beginning. Argon's hunger returns with a vengeance. She's stumbling through the streets of Aruresha, barely able to stand. She ate food, drank water. Nothing works. The burning thirst from deep inside her body is only getting worse. Whatever her vampire body truly needs, normal sustenance isn't it, and she's about to hit rock bottom. She knows exactly what she craves: blood. But the thought of actually asking someone makes her sick. She imagines walking up to a stranger and politely requesting a bite. In her mind, that would just make her look like a pervert. She collapses to the ground, seriously questioning whether choosing vampire was the biggest mistake of her afterlife. But someone is watching, and they're about to change everything. She wakes up in yet another soft bed, and the cycle repeats. Eyes sparkling, body melting into the sheets, she declares her undying love for the mattress. 3 meals, a nap, afternoon snacks. That's her ideal life plan. She'd marry anyone who could hold her the way this bed does. Whoever brought her here overhears these unique future goals, and isn't quite sure what to make of this strange girl. Argon gathers herself and tries to ask her rescuer a serious question. Would they let her suck their blood? She pictures the scenario and immediately imagines looking like a creep approaching someone on the street. The thought alone makes her cringe. She wonders again if becoming a vampire was a mistake. But still, the craving won't stop, and the person who found her might be more understanding than she expects. Back during the reincarnation process, the voice had been trying to guide the boy through his skill choices. She moves on to discussing hematophagy and blood-related abilities. The boy immediately says he'll take anything with blood in the name. The voice snaps. Is he making fun of her? She starts writing detailed notes on paper, begging him to at least pay a little attention. He stares at the list blankly. She sighs. This careless attitude towards skill selection is going to have massive consequences he can't even imagine yet. A massive list of vampire beginner skills unfolds. Hematophagy, atomization, bat transformation, shadow form, blood contract, blood reading, blood weapon, language translation, enhanced vision, dark magic, healing magic, every elemental resistance imaginable, and more. The boy glances at the wall of text and mutters that it's kind of long. He asks if he can just pick one and call it a day. The voice explodes. Absolutely not. He tries to take them all. She refuses, but his stubbornness is about to collide with a system that has very real limits. The voice explains this is the soul hiker room, where his next destination and race will be decided. The boy asks the obvious question. Does this mean he died? He then spots the voice and calls her Lowly Granny. She is not having it. Would he prefer Grandma Lowly instead? He quickly changes the subject, asking why he died in the first place. The voice mutters that he's awfully quick to dodge topics. But the answer to his question? It's almost embarrassingly mundane. Argon steps forward to confront the terrier bandits with a simple proposition: rescue Zeno in exchange for food. Zeno can barely process what's happening before she's already sizing up the 3 men. She starts renaming them based on their most prominent physical traits: leg hair bobo, bald head coat, and spread nose hair. Zeno's jaw drops. What is wrong with her sense for names? But what comes next will make everyone forget the nicknames entirely. Argon unleashes a devastating wave of dark energy with a casual flick of her wrist. The bandits are engulfed in a torrent of shadowy power, screaming in terror. This isn't just strong, it's catastrophically overpowered. The same girl who can't stop thinking about food and beds just wiped out a group of armed criminals like swatting flies. The gap between her personality and her power is absolutely terrifying. After the dust settles, Argon turns to Zeno with those big, earnest eyes and delivers the line everyone saw coming. I am really hungry, just as you promised. Would you please give me something to eat? Zeno's face flushes. He can barely stammer out a sure. After bandits, disintegrations, and the worst nicknames in history, It all comes back to food. That's peak Argan. The aftermath of the bandit encounter brings some awkward logistics. Arjun feels a bit bad about taking the bandits' horses, but Zeno reassures her. The horses were stolen property anyway, and they've been delivered to the authorities. Arjun has nothing to repay Zeno with, so she asks if she can help him again next time he's in trouble. Zeno pauses at next time. Does that mean she plans to stick around? For now, though, the priority is simple: lunch. Zeno stops Arjun before they fully part ways in the city. He hands her a small pouch of money. Not much, but enough to get by. He tells her to use it for food and travel, since she saved his life after all. But he also drops a warning. The lords of this city have a reputation for being fond of girls. Not exactly dangerous, but worth knowing. Arjun takes the money with wide eyes. For someone who's been starving and homeless, even a little kindness goes a long way. Arjun introduces herself to a new acquaintance, Felnute Lila. This is the woman who found Arjun collapsed in a back alley and brought her to safety, despite being blind. Arjun describes her as a person of boundless charitableness, a real saint. She even lets Arjun drink her blood. But here's what Arjun finds most interesting. Felnute may not look like a typical straight-laced character, but that serious, kind nature seems to be her true self. If Arjun could be constantly nourished by someone like this, she'd never be bored. But Felnute seems too serious for that kind of arrangement. What a pity. When Arjun drinks Felnute's blood, her blood reading skill activates. A full status screen floods her vision. Felnute Layla, human, balanced body type, with swordsmanship level 6, holy magic level 6, magic swordsmanship, healing magic, smithing, and dark magic resistance. This woman isn't just a kind stranger, she's a full-blown magic knight. The blood reading skill can even reveal thoughts and memories at max level. Arjun thanks her for the blood, but now she's looking at Felnute with entirely new respect. This partnership might be far more valuable than she initially thought. Arjun asks Felnute to come a little closer, warning that even her regeneration magic might not fully heal the bite. Felnute doesn't hesitate. She simply offers her arm and says, "Here." The two share a quiet, unexpectedly tender moment. Felnute gently touches Arjun's face. For a former Japanese man reborn as a vampire girl, this kind of intimacy is completely uncharted territory. Something stirs that Arjun wasn't prepared for. Felnute formally introduces herself, and Arjun responds, calling herself Argento Vampire, but asking to simply be called Arjun. There's a brief, meaningful pause between them. Then Felnute excuses herself to make tea, but as she walks away, Arjun watches in silence. Something has shifted. And when Felnute later discovers that Arjun can walk in broad daylight with sun resistance at level 10, making her a legendary daywalker, the shock on her face says it all. Arjun's regeneration magic? Also level 10. Felnute can barely process it. Why would a being this powerful appear out of nowhere? The answer is something even Arjun doesn't fully understand yet. But one thing is certain, this is far from over. Felnute wakes up with a start. A beautiful light with a pleasant smell surrounds her. And she realizes Arjun is curled up right next to her, fast asleep. She didn't even notice when she drifted off. But then a scent hits her. Something warm, something close. She jolts, fully awake. When did Arjun get this close? And why does she smell so intoxicating? For a vampire who feeds on blood, falling asleep next to your host is either a sign of deep trust or a very dangerous habit. Arjun returns home after a successful day of work, cheerfully announcing she's back. But when she finds Felnute, the scene stops her cold. Felnute is slumped over, completely passed out. The two have clearly settled into a domestic routine. Arjun goes out to work. Felnute holds down the home. But seeing her companion collapsed like this sends a jolt of concern through Arjun. Is she okay? Or has something gone wrong while Arjun was away? Arjun muses about her ideal living situation. She'd honestly prefer if people just came and took her in, rather than having to fend for herself. Somewhere in the city, someone else is listening. A mysterious figure in a grand manner murmurs the word, "interesting." A saint who can perform miracles. They want to confirm if this girl is suitable to become their wife. The shadow closing in on Arjun is real, and she has no idea it's coming. Whatever comfortable life she's been building is about to get complicated fast.
Word about Arjun has spread through the city, and the townspeople are losing their minds. She's been doing good deeds, healing people, helping out, and refusing payment because fighting over money would be a pain. The crowd erupts. A goddess, a silver-haired seraph, the goddess of the sea wind. Arjun stands there in her hooded cloak, flatly denying everything. She's no goddess. She's a vampire. But the people don't care. Her reputation is spiraling out of control, and that kind of attention is exactly what she doesn't need.
Arjun reveals another one of her vampire abilities, Bloodbox. It's a storage skill that lets her keep items inside her own bloodstream and pull them out on demand. And since it's maxed out, the capacity is seemingly infinite. Felnut is stunned. Arjun casually mentions she even had money stored in there and wants to repay Felnut for letting her stay. Felnut waves it off. Don't worry about it, but Arjun insists. The gap between how absurdly powerful this girl is and how she uses her abilities for mundane things like carrying groceries is almost comical. Felnut pulls Arjun aside for a serious conversation. She reminds her that vampires are a rare race, the stuff of legends, and Arjun isn't just any vampire. She's a daywalker, one who walks under the sun. If anyone discovered what she truly is, it would only bring trouble. Arjun pauses. She knows Felnut is right. The concern in Felnut's voice is real. She's not just worried about Arjun's secret. She genuinely cares about her safety. Arjun resolves to be more careful. But the people already watching her? They've seen enough. Arjun lets out a massive yawn, stretching out lazily in the afternoon sun. Felnut asks if she's tired. Arjun's response? She needs at least 30 hours of sleep a day to function properly. Felnut points out that's more than an entire day. Arjun claims she just woke up and is fine now, but apologizes anyway. Even as an overpowered legendary vampire, her greatest enemy remains her own laziness. Felnut can only sigh. Living with Arjun is never boring, but it's certainly exhausting. Felnut helps Arjun try on new clothes, checking the fit. Arjun says it's fine, not too tight or tense, but internally the situation is anything but calm. She can feel Felnut pressing against her back, and the warmth is making her flustered. Felnut compliments her pale skin, completely unaware of the effect she's having. For a former Japanese man now living as a vampire girl, being dressed and admired by another woman is a scenario he never could have imagined, and the feelings stirring inside, they're getting harder to ignore. Felnut storms out of the room in a flustered rage, slamming the door behind her. Arjun watches calmly and guesses she's heading to the bathroom. "Wrong!" Felnut shouts back. She insists she's going out, and Arjun is coming with her. Arjun asks innocently if it's for shopping. "You are going too!" Felnut drags her along. The dynamic between these two has become pure comedy. Felnut getting constantly flustered while Arjun remains obliviously unbothered. But beneath the bickering, something deeper is clearly growing. Felnut notices something off about Arjun and hesitantly asks. Arjun fidgets nervously. Felnut's eyes widen as she pieces it together. Could it be that Arjun isn't wearing any underwear? Arjun confirms it without a shred of shame. Felnut nearly has a meltdown. This girl walked around town, fought bandits, and met strangers, all without basic undergarments. The revelation hits Felnut like a truck. They need to go shopping, immediately. No exceptions. Felnut is still reeling from the underwear revelation when she discovers something even more outrageous. Arjun has been using magic to cleanse her own body instead of bathing. In this world, that kind of magic is reserved for special ceremonies or meeting high-ranking nobility. Not skipping showers because you're lazy. Arjun shrugs it off, saying baths are a hassle, and her magic manipulation is level 10 anyway, so it's no big deal. Felnut can barely contain herself. Max-level magic manipulation, the kind of skill people grind their entire lives for, and she's using it to avoid taking baths. Felnut tells her she makes absolutely no sense, and she's right, but that's exactly what makes Arjun who she is.
A boy dies from sleep apnea, gets reborn as an overpowered vampire girl, and immediately becomes the laziest legend this fantasy world has ever seen. She can disintegrate bandits with a flick of her wrist, but her real priorities are food, naps, and avoiding baths. With a blind magic knight as her new roommate, a growing fanbase calling her a goddess, and a mysterious noble eyeing her as a potential wife, Arjun's quiet freeloading days are numbered. And she has no idea what's coming next.